When it comes to kink and BDSM, I also believe there's a lot of misconceptions. And that misconception is that kink or BDSM has to involve or has like a strong focus on pain and control, and you have to wear like leather, and there's whips and there's chains, and all of that's welcome. That's also a way to explore, and there's a lot of other ways you can explore kink and BDSM that bring your partnership or partnerships closer. And it really again comes down to, what are you wanting to gain from this experience for yourself? What are you wanting to feel? Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Seanydoo. Hello, and welcome to Situaseans podcast. I'm your host, Sean Michael Williams, aka Seanydoo. You can call me Sean, Seanydoo. Does not matter to me. I'm just glad that y'all are here, and I have a special guest here, Andre Lazarus, with great energy. Andre, you are so amazing. Thank you so much for coming on.
You're amazing. That intro song, I'm gonna be singing that for the next week.
Yes, let's go. And so
Pleasure
for
to be
those,
here, man.
absolutely. And those of you that are tuning in for the first time, so this is Situations podcast. We talk about dating, relationships, mental and emotional life experiences. Ooh, we. And right
Uh-huh.
now, we got an amazing guest. And so Andre is a certified sex coach and a surrogate partner. Like, Andre, tell us all about you.
Man, how much time do we have?
Got about an hour, yeah.
Okay,
but
great. Yeah, well, I mean, as you said, I'm a sex coach, a surrogate partner, sacred intimate, and basically all of those terms mean that I work in the realm of intimacy, and intimacy on many different spectrums, and how we relate to ourselves, how we relate to individuals. And I've been doing this work for a decade plus, and I couldn't be more proud to do it.
Wow, that is amazing. I'm so glad that you have passion in what you're doing and you're helping so many people out there. I think that's what's important, right?
Yeah, and along the way, also helping myself. I mean, the work that I do, as much as it is holding space for others, every person that I work with, every person I interact with in my life are my teachers, and I'm constantly learning from those interactions. So it really is also, healing for me as well.
Absolutely. Love that. Love that. And so can you tell us tell our audience what city are you based in, or like where you're from? Tell us about like your background, all that stuff.
Yeah. So currently, my home base is in Barcelona, Spain. But I've lived majoritively in the US, and I moved to Spain recently this year for many different reasons. Love took me here, love for myself, of needing a change and transition, love of human beings. There's a woman here that I'm dating, and we have a really beautiful, strong connection. And also love for my lineage and my culture. I come from a family of immigrants, and just being closer to the Mediterranean. I have a Greek Haitian background, and it just has always felt more like home anytime that I get to travel over to this part of the world. And it's now my time to practice like being in that energy, and it's really been life changing.
Wow, love that. And it's so cool that you mentioned that you also have Haitian roots. Same here. I'm Haitian and French Creole and Native American. So
Wow, amazing. Yeah,
yeah,
my grandfather is from Port-au-Prince. My mother was born in Port-au-Prince. And yeah, I've had the pleasure of traveling to Haiti many years ago, but it's definitely time due to come back and see.
absolutely. Wow, wow. And so also, you have like quite like the phenomenal resume and background. And so I kind of want to start off from like your military background. So what kind of led you from a military career and then coming into, intimacy coaching? And also thank you for your service too, by the way.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, wow, I mean, it feels like a lifetime ago when I was in the military. I left in 2015. I served for about 8 years. And, I joined the military really kind of as a way to serve something greater than myself. I didn't come from a lineage of people who had served in the military. I was one of the first in my entire family, and it never was an intent to like serve for my entire career or to retire. I wanted to spend time on building myself as well as being able to help others build. That experience was also life changing, but also I realized that my heart was not in it anymore, and that's when I knew it was time to transition and move on. And I realized for me also that while in the military, there's a lot of I would say focus on not feeling strong emotions or feeling connected to intimacy. I mean, anger and other forms of like warrior spirit are definitely encouraged, but anything else that might be perceived as weakness is usually pushed to the side. And I was realizing for myself that there was a big part of what I was seeing in that culture, specifically for men, that really didn't resonate. And as I got out of the military, transitioning into what my next career was going to be, I was really thinking about my strengths, the things that people like told me that I bestowed on them in our interactions, and if this focus was really, at the near and dear to my heart, why not do it for a living? And I leaned into that. I listened to those voices and listened to those people and decided to take a leap and go into it as a career, and I haven't looked back since.
Wow. And so how many years total would you say you've been like, doing intimacy coaching and
Yeah, well, that's a great question. And when I think about this, my answer is usually, a little over 10 years, but that's where maybe my professional career started. But as I think about the way that I've interact with people and the way that I've had relationships, I feel like I've been doing this work, my entire life. But
yeah.
I didn't see it as work. I just saw it as living who I was and being in my truest form, and what that form was and how I learned about myself and the relationship to me and how I shared relationship with others also grew over the years. So it's been a constant evolving journey for myself.
Wow. And also you have been it sounds like you're like, coaching and helping people all over the world. Like it's not just one area, it's literally everybody like in the different countries and yeah.
Yeah, I feel very fortunate. I mean, it's definitely a privilege to have the ability to have technology to connect to individuals all over the world, from a virtual standpoint, but also I travel quite often for in-person work as well. And I would say the majority of my work is in person, but it is definitely helpful to be able to have technology to connect us from all over.
Absolutely. And, also your work is, taking you even though all around the world. And I kind of want to focus in and talk about, one of some of the coaching that you do on TV. So for our
Mm,
listeners that are tuning in, you know, Andre, he's pretty well known for the UK reality TV show Virgin Island, and so there, you're working with the participants as a professional surrogate partner, and helping them confront some of those intimacy challenges. Can you kind of like tell
mhm.
us about that, and even just like what that show is about, and like set it up for us?
Yeah. I had the honor and privilege of coming on the show that you're talking about, Virgin Island, back in what was it, 2024, and that was the first season. We actually just wrapped up the filming of the second season last month, and so season two will be coming out next year. But basically, it's a show where myself and other experts in the realm of intimacy, sexological body workers, coaches, surrogate partners like myself are really just helping these participants connect to their somatic experience, working through intimacy challenges they have. And in my work as a surrogate, I actually stand in as what would be a partner to an individual, and we work through those experiences of building that initial connection, learning the tools and techniques of like physical connection as well. And where I would say there's a bit of a misnomer that surrogate partner work is solely based on sexuality or getting someone to a place of having sex. While I do have the fortunate ability to do that in this work, um, it's really not the goal. The goal is just to be able to learn more about yourself and how you connect with other human beings in a really beautiful way. And with the participants on this show, I would say most, if not all of them, I believe, yeah, all of them are virgins. And the way that we look at virginity is that you have not had a penetrative sexual experience. So the show is based around helping them just have the tools to be successful out in the world after they leave the island. And the first season did an amazing job. All of the contributors were so courageous coming on and talking about the things that they've struggled with and how they left the island was just such an inspiration. And this next season, I can't give anything away, but it's quite impactful. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it all turns out.
Yeah, for sure, and I even, like, tuned into a couple of episodes of the 1st season, and I was like, "Wow," like
Amazing.
yeah, because just seeing how everything was set up and, like, the people coming onto the island and kinda just, exploring, like, being so new to this, and I
Hmm.
really liked how you as the coaches were, talking to them and, like, teaching them about consent, how to say no, and how to
Hmm.
respond to different, physical and emotional, styles as well, and so yeah, it was really helpful. I was like, "Wow, I wish they had a show like that back when I was, like, younger or even, like, a virgin," it would have helped me
Right?
tremendously.
Same. I mean, and I think about it. I say that, and I think about, oh, if I had the opportunity to come on that show at their age, some of them in their early 20s, would I have the courage? And like my immediate answer in the present is hell no. Like there's no way in hell I would have been able to do that. But also, like you said, just the education that they were able to take away from that experience. We get shit education when it comes to sex, when it comes to intimacy. It's
Yeah,
nothing that at least anything that I've heard of or people have shared about their experience has been lacking. So this is a great platform for people to learn that, hey, there are places where we can dive deeper and learn more about the way that we could connect in a safe, conscious, consent informed way.
absolutely. Couldn't have said that better.
I've been doing this for a little bit, so yeah,
Right, this is second nature to you, right?
I've
And, so, as far as, embodied intimacy, can you kinda share with us how do you
Mm,
define that, and how does it differ from traditional therapy or even just coaching in general?
yeah. Hmm. Well, I believe like the word embodied in in the question is really the focus, which is we're talking about the body and bringing the body into what is the conversation when we're talking about these different therapeutic modalities. And I want to say that there are so many different therapeutic modalities out there, and every person has access to these, and they all have their attributes. And where traditional talk therapy is very helpful and beneficial to many people, there's more of the focus on the mind, learning more about the why, kind of going into the past and then seeing how that past has helped us or maybe like put us into the challenge we are in our present. And with embodied intimacy and embodied focus, we're talking about bringing the body into the therapeutic discussion. So working with the body, depending on what you believe. I believe that trauma that we generally have all had in some point in our life is instilled and lives within us, and we can talk about this, and that can be beneficial. But then when we can actually move that throughout our body and figure out where that trauma is still stored and helping process that out, we can receive different impacts. So that's how I see embodied intimacy, is really having those intimate connections to our truth, to our physical form, that allows that mind body connection to be fully online.
Yeah, and I think sometimes people forget that even just, whether it's like emotional intimacy or physical intimacy, sometimes people forget that, it is a mental game. And you do have to kind of make sure that, you are well within yourself, mindset, because yeah, you do have to kind of make sure that you're being attentive and making not only to yourself, but the other person. And so,
Well said. Yeah.
for sure, for sure. And kind of just segueing from that, so why do you think so many men struggle with performance concerns, and what are like the first steps to addressing
Mm,
those?
mm. I feel that let's talk about present day men. There's a lot of expectation around what it is to quote unquote be a man. And especially now that we have so much access to different forms of information, especially social media, where we're seeing what is like the archetype of what is the true man, or we have individuals out there like shouting from the rooftops, in order to be a man, to be an alpha, to be in your masculine, you have to check these certain boxes, which not everyone does. I would say maybe only a very small percentage of what that prescribed masculine is, do people actually fit. And if you don't fit that, what does that mean? That means you're othered. That means that you're now something else. And now what I feel is puts a lot of pressure on us to try to all get to that example, when maybe that example is first not the best example, or the example that really resonates with us. And then we get into this spiral of not enoughness or insecurity, or maybe having porn be our metric and saying, "Oh, I'm supposed to be lasting for like 35 minutes, like this person is on this in this video." But what they're not seeing is that they're taking cuts. They're not seeing that they're taking performance enhancing substances to help their self stay erect longer, or um, just that every body is different too. And I think that pressure is where we see a lot of the performance anxiety and the concerns come around. And just knowing that if we take our time as men, slow down, really allow ourselves to be more vulnerable, more emotional, um, that's when we can start allowing the rest of our body to come online, and realize that how we're showing up is perfectly okay, and that there's always room for growth.
Yeah, yeah, because we're all unique individuals, and yeah, we all require different things, and even just in the
Absolutely.
in the bedroom too, like is going to require something different to for whatever like their preferences are.
Totally. And
Yeah.
I think with that, just speaking specifically in the bedroom, also the pressure that we're supposed to reach this like climactic state, or we're supposed to all have these huge explosive orgasms, and only then are we having like this, what is like a successful sexual experience. And when we can, like I said, slow down and maybe remove some of those expectations and just focus on what about this experience feels so fucking good. Am I allowed to swear? Like,
Absolutely. I would
I
be
always have to
offended I'd be
ask.
offended if you did not swear,
Okay, I always have to ask.
yeah.
Like, what feels so fucking good in this experience that I'm sharing with this person or persons, and just allowing yourself to focus on that rather than trying to get to this goal. And then amazing things happen. All these like sensations in the body start coming online that maybe weren't there before. And then that idea of like pressure to get somewhere dissipates.
Absolutely, yeah. And do you think even on top of that, with like, you know how like on social media, like whether it's Instagram or TikTok, we see like the reels of people giving like their opinion on what a relationship is, or what sex is supposed to be like, or what this person's
Mhm.
dynamic is supposed to be, and it's just like they give that cookie cutter advice that everything equals just as one opinion. Like,
Yeah, and I'm so glad you brought that up because there's so much information out there, as we talked about, and there's a lot of great insights. A lot of people have some really profound things to say and experiences to share, but those are their experiences. So whatever you're listening to include myself, like take it with a grain of salt. Like I'm sharing from my experience, from what has worked for me, what has felt good for me, and if there are things that resonate with you, great. Take them, practice them. If there's things you're like, that doesn't make any sense, I don't really think that works for me, also great. But don't take anyone's word at face value and think, "Oh, they said this is the way that I'm supposed to be in a relationship, or this is the way that I'm supposed to achieve like this masterful multi-orgasmic state." That might not actually be great or accurate for you. So again, really just tuning into what works for you.
yeah. Yeah, definitely, definitely. And so somatic work, and even like talking about that. So I'm understanding that it focuses on learning through the body rather than the mind. Can you kind of walk
Mhm.
us through what that actually looks like in practice, and then why is it so powerful for healing intimacy issues?
Hmm. Yeah, if you're open to it, Sean, maybe we can do just a very quick like demo of it as
Yeah.
a practicum. Um, one experience you could do is for a moment, and with whatever free hands you have, just t touch your arms and then put it down. Okay, so that was maybe a second, 2 seconds of touching your skin. Now bring your hands back and just hold them there, and see if you feel in your body, actual sensation, a difference between what was 2 seconds on your body and now what is prolonged. Maybe for me, I'm starting to feel more warmth. I'm starting to feel more sensation. I'm starting to feel more connected to my physical form. That's kind of some of the things that you do in somatic sessions is it's learning what it's like to feel connection, physical connection, and how that physical connection can bring online other parts of your body, and now how that can be shared with another individual because we all in some way relate to human beings, even if it's on a platonic level, and oftentimes it could be a handshake, it could be a hug, but we're talking oftentimes maybe a 2 second handshake or a 1 second hug. But when you take your time in that, you really get to sink in and allow your body to feel relaxed. Your nervous system starts to kind of regulate itself, and all these other juicy, parts of the body start coming online. So that's just a quick example of things that you can do in somatic experience work.
Wow. Yeah, I
Wonder,
really like
like
that.
I saw you do that. I'm wondering, did you feel a noticeable difference between just touching your arm for 2 seconds and then holding it there?
Yeah, I was just about to say, I definitely felt a difference because I'm like, wow, like, yeah, I do feel a little bit warmer because I'm embracing myself. I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
filling in like that space right here. So it
Mm-hmm.
definitely felt good. And even on top of that, now you got me thinking because I know, like, example, like, let's say if someone is, having it out or, or disagreement with a friend or family member, right? And then,
Mm.
at the end of that, or even at the beginning of that, they hug each other or what, or say, "Hey, it's okay," like with like a touch, or even just with words. Yeah, you do kind of like
Yeah.
feel that sense of calmness. Okay, maybe I don't need to be defensive. Okay, maybe it is going to be okay. So,
Yes, yeah, it allows it, and I've been there. I've been there in a heightened state, and allowing ourselves to like take some breaths, sharing like a intimate hug with a friend, with a lover, uh, gives us a moment to go from that place of like seeing red, as they say, and coming more into a state of calm.
Absolutely. Yes, yes. And even, what roles do, communications, play, even just creating safety and connection and intimacy?
Mm. Communication for me is the cornerstone of how we relate also to ourselves, like, that self-talk that we say, like, if we're feeling powerful, or if on the other side, if we're like not feeling good enough, or we're kind of a bit disappointed in ourselves, just communicating with ourselves is absolutely powerful. But communication as a tool with others is, I feel, a necessary element when we're talking about any form of intimacy, because that allows us to share more about what feels good for us, what doesn't feel good, when we talk about boundaries, when we talk about our ability to feel safe in an experience, and then also to listen to someone else share what works for them. And now when you were both talking, or again, multiple people are talking, depending on your dynamic, about how intimacy can feel safe, can feel powerful, that's when we can just allow ourselves to fully let our nervous system and our body like relax, surrender into whatever experience is happening, and everyone is benefiting from it. So communication again is like the cornerstone.
Yeah, because if you don't have communication, like, you really don't have anything because, yeah, like to your point, that is like the foundation of, any successful relationship because you got to communicate your needs or wants or even just things that, yeah, that need to be, figured out.
Yeah, and to be fair, it is not easy. I know can't tell you how many people that I've worked with, as well as people that I've shared, relationships with, where we or they think that their communication is on point. Oh, we talk all the time. Oh, we don't need any help in that department. And after spending 5 minutes of asking some questions on how they're communicating, they quickly learn, as I learned in my experience of improving communication, that there's always room for improvement. So even if you're out there listening and you feel like you've got it all figured out, um, that's great. Maybe you do, and I want to bet that there's ways that you can always improve.
Absolutely. And, like the work is never done. And if for those of you that are
Yeah,
like listening and watching, if you ever encounter somebody or in a relationship with somebody that says, "Oh yeah, I've done the work and the work is done," like there's nothing else more to do, run far away.
yeah, yeah. Very, very good point. Yes. So yeah, anyone who's like a guru or a maestro, or says, they've achieved this amazing like enlightenment, and here's the course to take, and once you've, completed this, then you've mastered anything. Again, run, as you said.
And even just talking and going deeper with communication and even just some of like you mentioned traumas as well like for like because we all have certain traumas from our past and
Hmm.
stuff. I'm wondering how can survivors of sexual trauma begin reconnecting with intimacy in a safe and empowering way?
Hmm. That's a really good question. With anyone, but to stay on the topic of like, survivors of trauma, uh, safety, safety, and true like agency. Like, being able to have control over their yes, control over their no, um, taking their time in their healing process, not rushing it, or going faster than one might be ready, are ways to really allow more of a mindful practice of being with the current state of feeling. And that could be that you're still in that state of trauma. It could have happened 30, 40 years ago. And if you haven't had the space to process it or to feel safe in processing it, uh, it could still be just as alive for you today as it was decades ago. So, um, moving slow, working with professionals, and also just knowing that safety really begins and ends with you and how you feel is how you can really begin to also start your journey of healing. And it could be like we talked about that it might never have like an endpoint to the growth and to the healing, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that you're broken. That doesn't mean that you need to like that you give up because you know I've been working on this for years and I'm still in this place. That's okay. Tomorrow is another day, and then the next day, and finding just these what I like to call like micro wins. One, when we focus on the smaller wins rather than this big monumental, then we take some of that pressure off ourselves to get to a place of healing.
Yeah, yeah. I really like how you put that because so many people do come from, certain environments and then, when they're, coupling up with someone or trying to get to know someone or even platonically, like whether it's, platonically or relationship or whatever it is, yeah, sometimes that past does come into the present and, the other person has to acknowledge, okay, I get it. Like this person comes from trauma. Let me be patient with them if that's for them. You know
Mhm.
what I mean?
Sure.
Um, and I know in my own life, I come from a household of like stepdad abused, me and like, some other folks in my household. And so
Mm.
in my teenage years, in high school, I kind of almost, was using sex as like an outlet, if that makes sense, because I was
It
like,
does.
well, I don't know what love is, and so um, I like this person, but I can't open up my inner heart to this person because I have a hard time trusting people. But you know what? I do like this person enough, so hey, maybe a physical
Mm.
relationship, is good enough and they have to be okay with that. And now it's like, just looking back, I was like, man, like I, if I had to go back and kind of correct a lot of that, I would have first, first got a therapist at that age. But also I would have been way more intentional about, approaching, I guess, physical relationships and probably we would, waited a lot longer to get started into that. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, first I wanna say thank you. Thank you for sharing about that. There's a lot of wisdom in that share, and I've definitely had those moments too where I'm like, "Oh, it would have been a lot more helpful looking back at the points in life where I was having different forms of trauma, to, like, have help and seek help." And it's easy to, like, go back sometimes and say, "Oh, if I had that, things would have been different." And as we talked about also is sometimes it just takes time for us to come up with these feelings and the timing kind of being right where it is because maybe we weren't actually ready. Maybe if we did have therapists or we did have help at that time, would we have been really ready to listen to it? And we needed this time to come to it on our own. Yeah, that was just really, really insightful. I appreciate you sharing that.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I'm hoping that the folks that are listening in like, are finding so much advice from what Andre is sharing because this is valuable information. Because yeah, the traumas that you're going through that doesn't have to define your future. It really doesn't. You define your future. So
Hmm. Yes, and when we're talking about past, when we're talking about present, when we're talking about future, this might be controversial. I definitely understand that not everyone might agree, but there's very little we can do to change the past. In my perspective, there's really nothing we can do to change the past because that has already happened. What we can do is see where we are in our present, using the past as education, as information to help what is our future and our current present just feel more connected. So yeah, it's if we stay in the past too long, and sometimes I'll do that with clients, there'll be a lot of focus where they're wanting to stay in the past, and my hope is, and with the work, is that they really focus on where they are now and appreciating that, and then being able to move forward again every day, little by little.
Yes, yes. I really think that is very insightful information. I definitely agree with you 1000%. And even another question too that I had that I want to pick your brain on is, so what are some common misconceptions or even just misunderstandings that I guess the general public has about the non-monogamy space? And like I know in the recent years, a lot more people are open to it. A lot more people are getting information about it now because we have
Yeah.
social media and stuff like that. But yeah, kind of give me like some of your thoughts of like what you've heard of these misconceptions are.
Mm. Well, I want to first say that whatever relationship dynamic um, that works for you as an individual is exactly what works for you. Great. Like, I will never be one to evangelize any form of monogamy or non-monogamy. We all have our paths, and when I look at the rest of the animal kingdom, when we look at all the other beings that are currently living on this planet, um, all of them, there's a very, very small percentage, um, are actually non-monogamous. And some people will point me to like, oh, but these birds over here, they mate for life. Yeah, you might find a mate for life, but they're not only having sex with them with their mate. They're also having sex with other, other of their species as well. So
Yeah,
there's actually not really any, monogamous beings out there. So for me, the misconception is that it's a fad or it's just you know inherent for us as humans to be monogamous, and I believe that it really comes from programming, that it comes from uh, a pushing of an idea or an ideology that doesn't actually fit for everyone. And the other misconception I feel is that people get into non-monogamous, relationships purely out of sexual satisfaction or exploration. And for me, I've been non-monogamous for over a decade, longer, let's just say really, but for me exploring it for over a decade, that it's really about being in my truest authenticity and allowing myself to be free to explore my curiosities. And that curiosity could just be having multiple friendships that include different forms of touch or different forms of emotional intimacy that never actually lead to sex. But in many monogamous dynamics, that wouldn't be allowed. So that's a
yeah,
misconception that we're trying to just have sex with one another. And while sex is awesome, that's not why I would say majority people that I spend time with who are exploring these dynamics are doing it. It's because they want to just be in their truest form and their truest self. And you get to do that maybe with a little bit more freedom and support in non monogamy.
yeah, absolutely. And I remember, so like early, when was this? Like early last year, in January, I had downloaded this app, Field, because I heard it on another
Oh,
podcast.
yeah.
So I was like,
I'm a big
what? Like,
fan.
yeah, I was like, what is this app? And so, um, yeah, when I signed in and everything, because like, I guess to make a long story short, I was a third in like one or two other couples is like dynamics. One couple I was dating, another couple I was kind of just like their partner that they just bring in every once in a full moon. But anyway,
Great. Yeah, awesome.
yeah, yeah. And so I was just like, okay, I definitely want to explore more of that because, like, I guess on my end, I was never in because like the monogamous relationships that I had, we never brought in like a third person. There
Mhm,
was one relationship where we were going to consider it, but we were trying to figure out our own relationship with each other, and it didn't last. It was like 2 years, but anyway,
mhm,
never really got there. But I know, like me, right now, just as a single person, um, if I find somebody, I definitely wouldn't mind being monogamous, and I would not mind being non-monogamous. Just, of course, just communication. Hey, like, are we each other's primary? I think that's what I care most about. Is just whatever relationship that I enter into, can I be that person's primary? They be my primary.
Yeah. And like you said, like being able to communicate about that. There's no rule that says once you establish a relationship with someone that whatever that dynamic is what is going to be the dynamic until you die. Like, there's no rule that says that. You
Right.
could be monogamous for 30 years of your life and then tomorrow decide to be non-monogamous. And vice versa. You could be non-monogamous for decades and then find out tomorrow, actually, I want to just focus on you, person I love, and not have any other interactions with other people. You get those choices. So when communicating or when starting a relationship, I'd say it's really important just to be very upfront and honest about all the things that you're open to exploring. That doesn't mean you have to, but at least getting it out there to say, hey, could potentially be a way that we can still share this love that we have for one another. And it could potentially include other people. And there's monogamish dynamics where maybe they're monogamous for 364 days of the year, and then one day is like a hall pass, and then they go explore. That doesn't mean that now, the floodgates are open and you can never close them. There's all different ways to explore this world. So again, taking time, communicating, research, but whatever floats your boat, do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And even on Field, what I appreciate about that app is I found that like a lot more people are honest about what they want across, and then I guess there's a lot less shame on that app because we do hear like,
Mm,
if you're on Hinge or if you're on Bumble or even Coffee Meets Bagel, some of the other apps, not putting
yes.
shame to the other apps, but sometimes people kind of put in their bios like, I don't want like none of that non-monogamy crap or whatever. It's just like, okay.
Yeah. Which is good. Now I know that that person's not going to be for me. You've
Exactly.
helped me out. I appreciate you.
Exactly, exactly. It's like there's a way of communicating like what you want without having to like shit on like someone else's,
Totally.
preferences.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those for that are listening, I'm hoping that you are finding value even in that. Is that, yeah, it's, non-monogamy isn't just like, oh yeah, let's just fuck everybody like that's out there on the market. It's like, you're communicating, building a relationship that works for you. If you find out, hey, we gave it a try, it didn't work, and you go back to being monogamous, that's cool. If it's the other way around, you find out, oh, it's not you. We do want to explore and keep exploring. That's fine too. Like Andre just said, you got to talk about it, and like he said, communicate.
Absolutely. And I would say, like, in my non-monogamy journey, I would say maybe 70% of the time spent is not in sexual experiences. And someone might be like, oh, maybe you're not doing it right. But for me, it works. I really enjoy the emotional connections that I get to build with people. And while there can still be that door open for the physical intimacy as well, um, that's definitely not my primary goal or my primary focus. So just again, sharing that you get to like kind of create the relationship that works for you.
Yes, there we go. There we go. And and again, I don't want to shame anybody in like the religion because, like, I guess like, we do respect all religions, all beliefs and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
sometimes I think Christianity kind of sometimes, I don't know how to explain it, but how to say it, but like, see, sometimes Christianity kind of like encourages, oh, this is the only relationship type, nothing
Hmm.
else matters, and it's like, you know.
Christianity, other religions as well, but yeah, I would say that, as Christianity is one of the larger practicing religions, it definitely does provide a little bit more of a favoritism, let's say, to monogamy. And rather than going down the religious rabbit hole, if that doesn't work for you, great. You don't have to actually follow that.
Exactly, exactly. It's whatever works for you as the individual person, like, and that's what's important. And so on top of this, kind of shifting gears here. So, how do kink and BDSM practices, even just with approach with care, how does that deepen
Mm.
trust between partners?
When it comes to kink and BDSM, I also believe there's a lot of misconceptions. And that misconception is that kink or BDSM has to involve or has like a strong focus on pain and control, and you have to wear like leather, and there's whips and there's chains, and all of that's welcome. Like that's also a way to explore. And there's a lot of other ways you can explore kink and BDSM that bring your partnership or partnerships closer. And it really, again, comes down to what are you wanting to gain from this experience for yourself? What are you wanting to feel? I often say any form of intimate connection, intimate practice, kink, BDSM, more traditional and vanilla sex or intimacy is are all just ways of feeling something. We want to just feel alive. We want to feel in our body. And when we're talking about kink and BDSM, there's a very strong focus on communication, on consent, on aftercare, meaning that after whatever experience you've had with a lover or lovers has taken place, the time to be held, whether you're the one holding or the one being held. And it allows the connection points to blossom and open up what I feel are like different synapses of creativity. One of the things I'm a huge proponent and practice of kink and BDSM in my personal life, in my professional work, and what I get to feel in those experiences outside of feeling very powerful, but I also feel like super creative, and I feel like I'm having so much fun, and I'm getting to do it in a way where I'm not having to overthink, because a lot of the things that I might have overthunk uh, were communicated, were talked about. And it's a way to really be fully vulnerable, surrender into some really beautiful experiences. And I want to say that, again, communication is extremely important in these spaces, because that's where we start to feel unsafe or not really trusting what's happening. Um, when we don't have that, and people sometimes will go jump, headfirst into this world, not researching, not having these conversations, and it can be dangerous. It can be risky, but it doesn't have to be. It's one of the easiest ways for you to let your guard down and feel really held and safe and trusting, is just talking about the things that you want to explore, the things that maybe you're have fear around exploring, your hard limits, your soft limits, safe words, all of these things. It takes less than 10 minutes to hop online, do a search. How do I get started into this world? And you'll get some really great tips. But one of the things is practicing and not trying to get it perfect the first time, or feeling like you should never do it again if you've made a mistake. I've made plenty of mistakes. I've definitely skirted boundaries. I've stepped over boundaries in these explorations, and we're all learning. It's really about allowing the room to learn and to feel empowered.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And thank you even just for sharing some of your experiences and like, and kind of showing us a human form of you as well. Like, we're all human. We're all just trying to figure things out. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
I would say
remember.
I learn more from the times that I make a mistake or a misstep, or I have the mirror like shown in my face. And it doesn't mean that it's comfortable. It doesn't mean that I'm not activated or triggered by it, but those are the places where I grow. Those are the places where I get to really say, okay, you are a human being. You're not perfect, and that's great, because that would be boring as hell.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I remember in the last relationship that I was talking about that was from 2020 to 2022. We were trying to like, some new things and exploring each other. And I remember like the first couple of times we were like trying new kinks. Yeah, we kind of had to, figure some things out because I know like even we both made mistakes. It was like, okay, yeah, maybe I'm not into this, or she was like, oh yeah, maybe I'm
Hmm.
not into this. It is about figuring out like if there is and I'm sure like there's a few couples out there in the world that's like, oh yeah, we tried this one spontaneous thing or these 10 spontaneous things and it just worked out the first time. To those people,
Hmm.
fuck you, like in the nicest way possible, but with love, of course.
Well said. Well said. Yeah. I mean, there, I know plenty of people who have had the fortunate ability to just have really great experiences right off the bat and
Yeah.
wonderful. And if you're an individual who maybe had some challenge right off the bat, don't fret. Like, there's room for growth. But again, doing your research, taking your time, and allowing yourself to be imperfect.
Yes. And for our audience, like, this is why Andre is a coach. He has a website. He can help you all out. If you're all trying to figure that out, get to working with Andre.
That was a great plug. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Yes. Yes. Reach out.
Absolutely. And so, so you help people move beyond labels, monogamy, non-monogamy, kink, trauma recovery, to kind of find what's most authentic for them. And so, what does real intimacy look like to you today, even just after years of going, of others and guiding people through it?
Real intimacy. I would say for me, when you are in your truest form, meaning that you can be a mess, you can be scared, you can be imperfect, and showing up still after all of that is real true intimacy. Is you are learning through experiences and not sugarcoating and not waiting until you're perfect or trying to be the personification of like perfection, and just allowing yourself to be seen and seeing others. That for me is real intimacy.
Yeah, I would agree. It's like, yeah, being able to just be there, be present, and then like, and understand, and like just showing up for sure. Cause I think that's probably like, I know for me, I can't speak for other people. I know for myself, I feel like because of just the, where I came from and like the environment that I grew up in, I was like, wow, you know what? I think if someone can show up for me the way that I want to show up for somebody else, like that is like the true intimacy
Mm,
there.
well said. Couldn't
Yeah,
agree more.
yeah. For sure. And my last question here too is so what are some simple practices that listeners can take away today to kind of feel more connected to themselves and their partners?
One of the simple practices I use in my personal life and I've definitely used with clients, and I believe anyone can do like in this moment as they're listening to this or right when they hop off listening to our show, is that um, touch connection from a place of slowness, stillness, and that can just be a hug. So if you're partnered or if you have a friend or a colleague or someone that you have a relationship with where that's allowed, and again, always asking for consent, instead of giving a 1 to 5 second hug, set a timer, like check in with them, say, like, I want to practice this, set a timer for a minute and just share an embrace and just be there breathing. And it might feel uncomfortable at first because it's not something that we're so used to. It's a quick thing, but just sharing an embrace, breathing slowly, allowing yourself to like feel like you're one with this individual that you're sharing this hug with. And this can just be a very nurturing, very sensual experience. It doesn't have to be erotic. But I would I would bet that after that minute you might want to go even another 10 seconds longer because you just feel like you're like on a cloud. So that's a simple practice you can do, and it's a great tool also if you're having a challenge, if you just got out of a fight, or things are heated with you or someone else. Practice it. Try a hug and see what it does for you. I bet it'll be life changing.
Yes. Yes. Even you just describing that just made my heart feel warm. I'm like, yes, like let me go try that with my
Me
close
too.
friends.
I'm gonna go hug this woman as soon as I hop off here.
Yes, yes, there you go. Gonna hug my dog. Yeah, where you at, Harley?
You win. Puppy love, that's hard to beat.
If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, can you do me a really quick favor? Can you please rate and review this podcast? Like hit that 5-star review, because I do read all the reviews because this helps me know how this podcast is helping others and how this podcast is serving you, because my job as a host is to serve you this podcast the way that you would prefer it to be. All right, so we got a little bit of a listener submission, and so we really appreciate you submitting everything to us. So if you want to submit, any questions, prompts, anything to us, go to situationspodcast.com/submit. It's an anonymous submission form. I won't know, Andre won't know who submitted it. So yeah, we really appreciate it. So Andre, you ready to unpack this?
Let's do it.
All right. Okay. So this first screenshot comes from the app Hinge. Actually, both of these come from the app Hinge. And so someone sent it in to us. And so this first one says, I recently discovered that I don't really like sex. And so it's up to us to decide this is this hinged or unhinged?
No. Well, first, how brave to like also just share openly and honestly that you're not feeling sexy, or that maybe you don't enjoy sex, uh, and that's okay. Like, you don't have to like everything that other people like. And while if there's something for me personally that I'm saying that I don't like this thing, or it's not really my thing, I will usually at least spend some time exploring like the why, and trying different techniques to maybe see if there's just something I'm missing the mark on. But after I've done that a few times, a dozen times, and I'm still like, this isn't my thing, great. Just more information for me. We don't all have to enjoy sex. Some of us can enjoy sex, till we're 90. It really doesn't matter. It's what works for you.
Yeah, yeah, very well put. I like that as well. I like that. Like this is definitely a hinged green flag of response, because it is good to know what that person is feeling. And like, yeah, if that individual's like, I don't like it, and then they've figured, like they've tried and failed or whatever, even like they're bringing in somebody and they're willing to try, and it's just not for them, that is a-okay. And I think that's the beauty of even just another beauty that I love about today's world, how there are so many different sexualities, and like even sexuality.
Hmm.
um because I do have a couple friends who are asexual that don't prefer sex, and a couple of them have tried it and was like, it's not for me. And then one
Yeah.
has never tried it ever, and they were like, yeah, I just don't think it's for me. I'm okay with my, like with my life the way it is. Like, that's perfectly
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
It's perfectly fine. And that doesn't mean that you still can't enjoy human connection. That doesn't
Yes.
mean that you still can't reap the benefits of like hand holding, or cuddling on a couch, or going to a massage parlor and getting a professional massage. Um, you know, I do feel that the more we allow space for touch connection with others, it's really helpful and healing. There's plenty of research on this. So I would say I don't believe that we're meant to be isolated beings that never feel the touch of another person. Yes, we can touch ourselves, and yes, that's a great way to still feel that body connection, but you don't have to have sex in order to reap the benefits of human interaction.
Yes, 1000% agree. This next one says, the key to my heart is I'm not giving you a cheat sheet. You're going to have to figure it out. Wink face. Oh, goodness.
Mm,
What do we think about this?
controversial, but we're not here to shame. Again, we all have our journeys, and if that's this person's belief, again, I always want to encourage people to be their true authentic self, and also keep an open mind and where we can learn and grow. From my perspective, when we believe that this quote unquote cheat sheet of how we like to be interacted with, whether it be through conversation or physical touch, that someone should just automatically know this or like be intuitive enough to read the quote unquote signals, I think that's when we start putting a lot of expectation
Yes.
on individuals, expectation on ourselves. And at least in my personal experience, no one has ever met my expectations. Even the most connected, intuitive beings, because they're mine. And when we get to share what we're feeling, when we get to share the places on our body that we enjoy touch, when we get to share about our juicy, sexy fantasies, now we're giving others information to meet us exactly where we want to be rather than an example, someone might be like rubbing your shoulders, but they're doing it really fast and they think that you're really enjoying it, just hoping that they're going to stop doing it. Um, yeah, maybe it'll eventually happen, but a quick, hey, would you mind moving a little bit slower for me? That would feel really good. Would get you a much quicker result to the end goal that you want. So while not giving someone a cheat sheet and just knowing is a practice. That's just one way. And I'd say I challenge the individual to try the things that I just mentioned and see if they get the same benefit.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Cause I think even just like looking at that, about even like a cheat sheet, I'm like, okay, so if somebody really wants like like let's say somebody's like, yeah, like you said, like here, like here's this hypothetical cheat sheet, do A through Z. This is how I'm yours. I
Hmm.
think on the other s I think when I was looking at that, I was like, "Wow, you know what?" Kind of segue, I'm like, "Wow, someone could, like, open themselves up to being taken advantage of too, because it's like, now I know what you like, and this is how I'm gonna,
Yeah.
kinda take the reins and control this
Hmm.
relationship." So, yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good point.
yeah, and also, agreeing with you when it comes to like, yeah, like challenging this person to kind of think from a different perspective and kind of try to like work, work with that person instead of having somebody figure you out. Yeah, because it is hard. It
Yeah,
is
no,
hard.
no one knows what's going on in our body. Like we could be having the biggest smile on our face, saying, "I'm having the best day ever," but inside we might be exhausted. We might be grieving. And here is a mask that we wear because that's just generally the way that we might think more approachable. No one wants to hear my problems. No one wants to see a sad me. I'm going to put on a happy face and I'm going to be my biggest, brightest self, even though inside I might be crying or needing a hug. Putting that like expectation on someone to just know that might not get you the support that you need. So how could just sharing a little bit more benefit you? But
Yes.
again, do it a dozen times, try it 50 times. And if you're like, no, I don't want to give away that cheat sheet, you do you.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. All right, Andre, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you doing all of this with us and dropping such valuable gold information.
Mm. Thank you, Sean, and thank you for also sharing about yourself and parts of your life as well.
Absolutely. And for all of you that are listening, definitely work with Andre, and also can you like share like your social media, anything that you want our audience to follow you on and connect with you?
Yeah, I have my Instagram where I would say I'm semi-active, but it's still a place that I go. So that's coming closer with Andre, and then I have my website, which is coming-closer.com. And then finally, my online course for men, Talented Lover. That's a great way to just learn new skills on how to be a proficient lover and partner. You can also find that on my website as well.
Wonderful. You all have all the resources to connect and get in touch and work with Andre. So I'm hoping you all do that and reach out and like, yeah, work with Andre to get more along on your journey, whatever that journey looks like for you. And definitely make sure to tune in and get your TVs tuned in over to Virgin Island. And so I'm excited. I saw the first couple episodes. I'm going to be tuning in. I'm going to be watching. So yes.
Amazing. Yeah, and next season coming out next year.
All right, all right. You all heard it here first. So with that, you all don't forget to subscribe, like all that stuff. And yeah, with that, I will see you all back here for the next episode in a couple of weeks. Woo!